In the world of fables and folklore, stories have been used for generations to teach moral values and guide behavior. One such timeless tale is that of the honest woodcutter, a simple yet powerful story, but about the importance of honesty and integrity. It is a story that reminds us that in the long run, being truthful and virtuous will always lead to greater rewards than deceit or dishonesty. This tale serves as a beacon of moral righteousness and offering a clear lesson that transcends time and culture. At the heart of this story At the heart of this story is a poor but hardworking woodcutter who, despite his humble life, earns great respect for his honesty. His journey begins with an unfortunate accident that leads him to a magical encounter, which ultimately rewards his honesty in ways he never could have imagined. Through his experience, we learn how choosing to be truthful, even when it is difficult, is a virtue that can bring unexpected blessings. Now, let us dive deeper into the story of Honest Woodcutter and the valuable lesson it has to offer. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled near a dense forest, there lived a poor but hard-working woodcutter. This woodcutter, though he had a little to his name and integrity, every day he would rise early and venture into the forest with his trusty axe to chop wood. He would then sell the wood in the village market to earn a meager living, enough to feed himself and his family. Despite his humble means, the woodcutter never complained, for he believed that honesty was the most important virtue a person could possess. One day, as the woodcutter was chopping wood near a river, an unfortunate accident occurred. As he swung his axe, it slipped out of his hands and flew into the river. The woodcutter watched helplessly as his only means of livelihood sank into the bottom of this deep, fast flowing water. The river was so wide and swift that the woodcutter knew there was no way he could retrieve his axe. Distraught, he sat down on the riverbank, wondering how he would be able to earn a living without his precious tool. As the woodcutter lamented his misfortune, the river suddenly began to shimmer. To his amazement, a beautiful figure emerged from the water. It was a water fairy, her appearance glowing with kindness and wisdom. Seeing the sorrow on the woodcutter's face, she approached him and asked, "Why do you look so sad, good man?" The woodcutter explained his plight to the fairy, describing how his axe had fallen into the river and how he had no way to retrieve it. The fairy, moved by the woodcutter's honesty and simple nature, decided to help him. She smiled gently and said, "Do not worry, I will help you find your axe." With that, she dove into the river and disappeared beneath the surface. A few moments later, the fairy emerged from the water holding a shiny golden axe. She held it out to the woodcutter and asked, "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter, though tempted by the sight of a glittering tool, shook his head and replied, "No, that is not my axe. Mine was just an old iron one, not made up of gold." The fairy smiled at the woodcutter's honesty and disappeared beneath the water again. This time she emerged holding a silver axe. She offered it to the woodcutter and asked, "Is this your axe?" Once again the woodcutter shook his head and said, "No, that is not mine either. My axe was just a simple iron one." Finally, the fairy went down one more time and brought up an old, rusted iron axe, the very same one the woodcutter had lost. She held it out to him and asked, "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter's face lit up with joy and he nodded eagerly. "Yes, that's my axe. Thank you so much for helping me find it." The fairy, impressed by the woodcutter's honesty, not only returned his iron axe to him but also rewarded him with a golden and silver axe as gifts. "Your honesty has earned you these rewards," she said, "for it is rare to find someone who values truth over wealth." The woodcutter, overwhelmed by the fairy's generosity, thanked her profusely and returned to his village with all three eggs. From that day on, the woodcutter's life changed. He continued to work hard and honestly, but now he had more than enough to provide for his family. His story spread throughout the village, and people came to admire him even more for his integrity. He never boasted about his newfound wealth and continued to live a modest life, always remembering the lesson that honesty is more valuable than gold. In the end, the honest woodcutter's reward was not just the golden and silver eggs, but the peace of mind that came from knowing he had done the right thing.